The movie nobody asked for and nobody wanted is here. Mean Girls 2024. It's been 20 years and they made a movie that if you weren't paying close attention to the marketing, you would not realize is a musical. Now, if you'll look closely at the logo I've got on screen, it does have, an eighth note in the A. So that's like a little bit of an indicator. If you pay attention, you might realize it's going to be a musical, but a lot of the marketing for this movie just really hid that fact. And that's an issue that I've got with a lot of musical marketing. Like, just in the last month, we've had 3 major motion pictures come out that were musicals that were not initially advertised as musicals. We had Wonka, The Color Purple, and now Mean Girls. And I saw, actually, I need to find this because, I actually saw somebody had been interviewed about it, and they basically said that, let me bring this one up. Paramount's marketing president says they didn't market Mean Girls as a musical because people tend to treat musicals differently. To start off saying musical, you have the potential to turn off audiences. Well, the reason for that is that people who don't like musicals don't want to see musicals. And like I said here, yes, because people who don't like musicals don't want to see musicals. If you're making a musical and hiding the fact that it is a musical in your marketing, you are engaging in deceptive advertisement. I like musicals, but if you are making a musical, say that shit up front. Admiral Paka says, strange that this movie is a musical would be obfuscated in the marketing. Well, it's a problem of a disconnect between the money guys and the creatives. Musicals cost a lot of money to make, at least film musicals, because you tend to need a lot more dancers, a lot more choreography. There's a lot of moving parts that go into doing a musical. I've done stage musicals before, and they are a lot more work than doing just a stage play. Doing that in film as well, where you have to make sure everything, you get your AV sync right, everything syncs to the music while you're filming, because you don't have live musicians that can correct for any missteps or anything like that, so you got to make sure it's all dialed in there. There's a lot of work that goes into it, and so that increases the costs. And studios might be a little wary of paying more for a musical if less people are going to go see the musical, so they are inclined to not play up that it's a musical. But I think that's fundamentally an unethical decision. I understand why they make it, but it's unethical. I think it amounts to deceptive advertisement 100%. That being said, the music in this movie wasn't that great. There wasn't really any particular songs that really stood out. There were some really bad songs. The actress for Regina George, I actually think she was really good, really well cast as Regina George up until she starts singing. She has the queen bee shit down pat, but once she gets a song, she starts doing this breathy, poppy, cool girl singing style. The "My name is Regina George, and I'm..." hang on, I'm trying to remember what the actual lyrics was, but there's a line where the line is I am a massive deal, I think is what she says, but she doesn't say massive deal, she says massive D, because she's not enunciating, because she's doing a pop performance instead of a musical number. And in musicals, it's not just about your vocal performance. It's okay not to have perfect enunciation for some styles of music if you're just listening to the vibes of it, right? If you're not actually trying to pay attention to the lyrics, that's okay. That can be acceptable. But when you're doing a musical where people are singing not just to do a vocal performance, but to inform you about their character and their character's wants and desires and motivations, you need to be able to understand what they're saying. And half of her words get swallowed up by the fact that she's doing the cool girl singing style that it's completely lost. When she's singing, I was just I want subtitles because I don't know half the words that she's saying. Yeah, it's not the style you want for a musical. On the other hand, somebody who I think was a perfect casting choice for acting and for singing was Ali'i Cravalho, who you may recognize that name. She played Moana, and she plays Janice. And Janice Ian was her name in the original, and I don't remember her name in this one, but because Ali'i Cravalho is Hawaiian, they gave her character a Hawaiian last name. I think she's just as good, if not better, than Lizzie Kaplan in this role. She really impressed me in this one. She had the right amount of intensity for that role, because Janice is a very intense role. I think she played it really well. I think the actor for Damien, the character of Damien in Mean Girls just kind of feels dated. It's a very old school idea of a big gay guy. And, you know, there were things that were updated for this movie, because, like, one of the big things, like the big reasons that Janice and Regina had a split in the original movie is that Regina started a rumor that Janice was a lesbian. And in 2004, that could be understandable why somebody would take objection to that being a rumor being spread about them. But in this movie, they're just like, well, no, she is a lesbian. What the real rumor was is that she was like obsessed with Regina and like was like setting fire to her stuff or something like that. Like they tried to come up with another reason, but it felt a little weak. And it felt like they were just doing it to address well, we can't just say, oh, she's a lesbian. That's what was hurtful about it, because that doesn't really fly. There's a lot of moments in this movie where it's very clear that they film it knowing this is a big moment from the original movie, so we really gotta like pay attention to it and like capture it. The line, get in, loser. Now, in the original movie, it was, get in, loser, we're going shopping. But here, she just says, get in, loser. But in the original movie, it was just, she pulls up and goes, get in, loser, we're going shopping. And that's a memorable moment because it's such a mean thing for her to say to a friend. But in this one, it's like the camera pulls in and she's just like giving a little smirk to the camera like, hey, you know this line's coming. And there's a couple other moments where like October 3rd is Mean Girls Day, because in the original movie and in this one, you know, it's like on October 3rd, he asked me what day it was. What day is it? It's October 3rd. So like in the Mean Girls fandom, October 3rd has become kind of an unofficial holiday. And because of that, when that scene happens here, they have like a whole chorus behind Katie going, October 3rd! And they do the same thing in another scene, and none for Gretchen Wieners. No. I mean, it was that scene, but it wasn't the none for Gretchen Wieners line. It was the you go Glen Coco. There was like a bunch of people singing Glen Coco. And like the problem with that scene is that so much of how memorable that scene was like built on the performance of the character who played or the actor who played Damien, as well as the performance of Gretchen, because you can see her as all of the candy canes are being delivered to everyone else. In the original, you can see her growing insecurity and anxiety when she realizes that she doesn't get any, especially when like Damien walks right past her and she reaches out and then he goes, and none for Gretchen Wieners. None of that is set up here. This scene is entirely made to remind you that it was a good scene in the original, but it doesn't capture any of the energy. Gretchen seems to not even be the focus of the scene, which completely misses it. The lines are just played up like these are the lines you remember from the original, and they don't carry the impact to them. And none for Gretchen Wieners in the original was a quick throwaway line just as Damien's running off, and that's what made it so funny. But here it was like front and center. He like turns to the camera and goes, and none for Gretchen Wieners. Like it missed the tone of it all. It doesn't work. Some of the cast, I think, just don't work at all. Like the actor that got to play Karen, I think, was playing it too dumb. Like she was deliberately playing it like, oh yes, I know I'm playing a dumb character. Whereas Amanda Seyfried, who's an amazing actor, she's done a lot of both comedic and serious work. And, you know, she definitely played an airhead, but she played an airhead who, like, with sincerity and not like, I'm gonna play an airhead in a movie. But in this one, it was just like, I'm gonna play the dumb girl. And I don't think it worked at all, especially because they didn't actually make her mean. Like, every girl in the original movie is mean at some point in the movie. That's why it's called Mean Girls. But the only mean thing about Karen is that she's part of the Plastics. We don't really see her do anything explicitly mean. Whereas, as much as I would say Karen was probably the nicest of the Plastics in the original, she still did mean girl things, like on the scene where they're doing the three-way calling thing, and Karen goes, "Oh my god, she's so annoying," or something like that. So yeah, I didn't think that casting was okay. And the main star, actually, I know I'm gonna say her name wrong. Anguri Rice. I thought it was pronounced Anjuri Rice. She's one of the side kids from the Spider-Man the MCU trilogy. She's the one who dated Ned in Far From Home. She plays Katie Heron in this one, and I don't think she had that full range that Lindsay Lohan brought to it. Like, Lindsay Lohan, I don't think is the strongest actor in the world, but I think she was like perfectly chosen for Mean Girls. I think she really had at the beginning of the movie that down to earth naivete, but then was able to fully transform into the Mean Girl by the end. And for Angry Rice, I don't know. I didn't feel like she had the same kind of energy to it. For me, it felt like once she had, quote unquote, become the plastic, she still felt like she didn't know how to do it. Like she still felt like, she hadn't actually fully embraced it, and we're just supposed to understand that she's fully embraced it because we've seen the original movie and we know how it's supposed to play out. Unfortunately, for remakes like this, you can never really judge them on their own merits. You have to judge them based on how they compare to the original. And if it was a completely reimagined thing where they just took the name Mean Girls, took the basic premise, but wanted to tell a completely new story with it, then I might be able to judge it more on that. But because this is just a straight remake of the original, but with a lot of scenes cut down so that they can make room for songs that some of them aren't really that good, I didn't see the point of it. If you want to watch Mean Girls, it's a great film, and it came out in 2004. Don't watch this one. Hey, thanks for watching. Your view means a lot. Don't forget to toss me a like, and subscribe, and ring the bell. And drop a comment below telling me what you thought of the video. I stream Mondays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Pacific, and Sundays at 2, so catch me live and join in on the convo. You can find all my socials in the description below, and thank you to all my patrons, with a very special shout out to my Whaled Shark tier patron Ryan D and my Anemone friend tier patron Piftle Cakes. Your support means the world. Catch you next time.